Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome to another episode of Mingles with Jingles. I suppose first thing I really should get out of the way is the old health update. Last time we spoke, I was probably having a colonoscopy at the time you were actually listening to Mingles with Jingles. The result was clear. I am confirmed cancer-free for the last year and a half, which is nice. The bowel was actually surprisingly clear. There were a couple of largish polyps, like on the way. Oh, I did it without sedation, by the way. It wasn't that bad. Really, it wasn't that bad. I was sedated the first time, and I can kind of sort of remember the experience, while at the same time not really. It was really weird. I was conscious and aware of what was happening the first time I had it done. But it was like I was observing it from a distance. I went without the sedation this time because if you do take the sedation, then basically you have to be watched for 24 hours afterwards. You're not allowed to drive, that would have been a problem for me. But I'll just screw it. I'll just go without it, and it was fine. It really wasn't a problem. And most importantly, I was up and about instantly. They had gas and air available in case I needed it, but I just didn't. So yeah, fine. Unfortunately, they weren't able to remove the polyps because I had a heart attack a year ago. I'm on various different medications for that, including blood thinners. So they couldn't do anything that might cause any bleeding, like remove any polyps that they found. But there were only two, right kind of on the way in, just inside the back door, if you know what I mean. Under normal circumstances, they would have been able to remove them there and then. But just in case, for the benefit of anybody who's listening to this, for whom English isn't their first language, or if English is your first language and you don't know what a polyp is, it's not a cancer. It's a completely benign thing that can just be removed, unless you're on some kind of blood thinning medication. So they had to leave them in there because they didn't want to do anything that might cause bleeding. But they weren't going to be able to stop, which is unfortunate because in a couple of weeks it'll be the first anniversary, if you like, of my heart attack, at which point I would be coming off the blood thinning medication. So yeah, my usual shitty timing. But the good news is that they found nothing. They had a quick look at the repair work that was done on my bowel a year and a half ago, and it's all still looking good. So hats off to the original surgeon, Mr. Conti. The guy was incredible. This was not his first rodeo. He'd been doing this for a while. He did an amazing job. As did all of the surgical and post-surgical care staff at the QA hospital. So I am, again, still cancer-free. There'll be another colonoscopy and CT scan in 3 years. If it doesn't come back in the first year, it's almost certainly not going to come back. That's the danger period. If your scans a year after are clear, the chances of it reoccurring drop drastically. They do another set of scans and tests at the 5-year point, and if it hasn't come back within 5 years, it's not coming back, unless you just get lucky and you get a new cancer. But yeah, cancer free, so woohoo. Seriously though, the last 2 weeks have just been ridiculous. I've had 2 separate blood tests, a colonoscopy, a physiotherapist's appointment. I've had numerous telephone consultations with pharmacists and doctors. I've had my shoulder x-rayed for the frozen shoulder thing I was talking about last week. They're not expecting to find anything. The shoulder x-ray was just, it's possible, but extremely unlikely, that the shoulder pain was caused by some kind of calcium build-up in the rotator cuff, ball and socket joint. The physiotherapist said, it's not going to be that, but we'll check it anyway, just in case. As with my cancer surgeon, this was not his first rodeo either. He knows a frozen shoulder when he sees one, but procedure says you check it anyway, just in case. So that was the x-ray. Haven't had the results of that yet. I've got another bloody blood test on Thursday of this week. And then hopefully I'll be able to go a couple of weeks without anything medical happening, which will be nice. But the good news, the upshot of all of this, is that as well as the great news about the cancer not coming back, I'm also... Well, I'm still diabetic, but I'm way less diabetic than I was, if that makes any sense. has been a good boy. I've been, well, eating properly. Well, more importantly, I've been drinking properly. Alcohol is just the only vice that I have left. I mean, I gave up smoking immediately after the heart attack. The diabetes forced me to stop guzzling litres of sugary, fizzy drinks every bloody day. I've been eating properly, much, much more healthy, and so on and so on. But there were still, improvements that I could make. So I've been looking, and this isn't a sponsored section of the video or anything, by the way. Although if the company I'm about to mention do want to send me some free beer, I'll certainly not say no. But I've been trying to find, because I like beer, all right? Beer's great. But, it's basically liquid bread. So it's full of carbohydrates, and carbohydrates are not great for you if you're diabetic because your body turns them to sugar. So I've been trying to find low carb, preferably low calorie and low alcohol beer. That's the holy grail, isn't it? Finding beer that doesn't actually have any alcohol, any carbs, or any sugar. The only problem is there's plenty of no alcohol beer out there, but it all tastes like dog's piss. Trust me, I've tried. Every time I do a grocery order, I try a new no alcohol beer, and they're all awful. My neighbour said her husband has tried Heineken, no alcohol Heineken. He said it's actually really good. It tastes just like beer. I can only assume he doesn't have working taste buds because that stuff tastes like dog's piss as well. There are some good low alcohol beers, by which, rather than 4.2 alcohol by volume, they're like 3.4, which is better, but it's still not good. And they're all still have all the carbohydrates and all the sugar. But I found this company called Drinkwell. Again, not sponsored, but again, if they hear about this video and they feel like sending me some free stuff, I wouldn't say no. They're not perfect. They do a sugar-free wine. Actually, they do a couple of sugar-free wines that are actually fairly nice, but it's the beer that we're talking about today. I ordered some lager and some IPA that is 0% sugar and 0 carbohydrates. It's full-strength beer, though, 4.2% alcohol by volume, but it actually, probably that's the reason why it actually tastes good, because it does actually have a decent amount of alcohol in it. But that's good. It's good for the diabetes. No carbs, no sugar. It's good for your health in general. Well, aside from the regular alcohol content, but, come on, seriously, I've only got one vice left, and it's beer and whiskey, and I don't want to give it up. That's why I'm searching for healthier options that still allow me to enjoy beer and whiskey. Because I'm not giving those up. I'd rather, fuck it, I'll just die. But I'll die drunk and happy. But like I said, there are options out there. There's this 0 carb, 0 sugar beer, which is great, but it's not low alcohol. They also do a low alcohol lager from a Scottish brewery called Tennant's that's not bad at all. And it is lower on the calories and the carbs and the sugar, but it's not calorie and carb free in the way that the full strength stuff is. It's like there's no holy grail when it comes to healthy beer. You either have to have the alcohol and get the benefit of not having the carbs and the sugar, or have some carbs and sugar but lower the alcohol level. It's like, whatever. I'm trying. What can I say? But as a result of this, my diabetes thing has dropped drastically. I'm still doing all the other good stuff. I'm still, cutting out sugar and carbs in my diet wherever possible. But now I'm cutting out sugar and carbs in my beer as well. So I'm still able to enjoy drinking while having it be moderately, well, not necessarily good for me, but way less bad. So, if any of this sounds good to you, and again, this is not a sponsored video, but equally again, if they want to send me some free stuff, I'm certainly not going to say no. That's Drinkwell. I'll even put a link to their website in the video description. And hopefully you'll find something there that you like and is actually not terrible for your health. Oh, I should probably point out this is a British company, and I've just had a quick look at their website. It doesn't look, I might be wrong, but it doesn't look like they deliver outside of the UK. If that is the case, and you're interested in these kind of products, I'm sure that wherever you live, there's going to be somebody else doing the same thing. So just do a quick Google search. And good luck. While we're on the subject of health, In the comments of last week's Mingles with Jingles, somebody said, Jingles, have you heard the news about Flamu? I was like, what? No. For those of you who don't know Flamu, let's face it, if you're watching Mingles with Jingles, you've probably heard of Flamu, former World of Warships community contributor, known for being a bit of an arsehole. Got to be honest here, Flamu is an arsehole, but he's my kind of arsehole. I like him. While, freely acknowledging that he can be a bit much. But he's been diagnosed with aggressive lymphoma. I had to look it up. I was aware that it was some kind of cancer, but I didn't know specifically what it was. It's a cancer of your immune system, and it's aggressive cancer of the immune system. And I'm not, I don't have a medical degree, but I'm fairly sure that if you put the word aggressive in front of any kind of cancer, it's not good. It feels really, really weird saying this, but I did actually get kind of lucky with my cancer, because if you have to get cancer, then bowel cancer is the way to go. It's better to not get cancer because all cancers are shit. But if you get bowel cancer, it's the easiest to treat, and you've got the highest chance of surviving. And obviously, as with all cancers, the earlier you get it, the better. Well, not the earlier you get it, but the earlier you find it, the better. And of course, with my friend Eddie dying from cancer a year earlier, I was hyper aware of the symptoms. And so when I thought, shit, this might, I didn't hang around. Thanks to that, I was treated successfully. Now, Flamu only wishes he had bowel cancer. He's got aggressive lymphoma. On the bright side, there are a couple of good things. There's nothing good about it, but if you were to look for the bright side, one, he is very young. He's not even 40. And so he can withstand aggressive chemotherapy. Like, if I got what he has now, at my age, with my health, the chemotherapy will probably kill me. But while this aggressive lymphoma that he has does spread very quickly, it's a type of cancer that does respond well to chemotherapy. And with him being as young as he is, they can probably be aggressive with a chemotherapy treatment and give him the best possible chance of survival. So, it's just shit. Seriously, cancer at his age, man, what the hell? However, getting it as young as he is does mean that they can treat it aggressively and kick its arse, and he can survive the treatment. So, fingers crossed and best of luck to him. And remember, kids, say it with me, fuck cancer. Turning to other news, gaming related, well, I suppose, talking about Flamu is moderately gaming related, but actual gaming related news now. Although, it's consoles, so it's not real gaming. Xbox CEO Phil Spencer has announced he's retiring after 40 years working at Microslop. Phil can proudly state that he was in charge of Xbox at the time where the PlayStation utterly dominated the console market and saw the Xbox locked into a struggle for distant second place to the PlayStation with the Nintendo Switch of all things. So, his leaving Microslop isn't likely to be a huge blow. At least you'd think so until you look at who it is who's replacing him. Now, the deputy head of Microsoft Xbox was a woman who went by the name of Sarah Bond, but she's just quit Microsoft entirely. And so Phil Spencer is being replaced as the CEO of Microsoft Xbox by, and I'm not making this up, seriously, these jokes just write themselves, Spencer's position as Microsoft Gaming CEO and head of the Xbox division will be taken over by Asher Sharma, who only joined Microsoft 2 years ago as president of its Core AI product. So Microsoft's AI head is taking over Xbox. Before working for Core AI, she was the chief operating officer at Instacart and the vice president of product and engineering at Meta, or Facebook. So no gaming experience whatsoever, and instead has a background in social media, shopping and payment systems, and AI. and said, and again, I am not making this up, the head of Microsoft Core AI on her appointment to head of the Microsoft Xbox gaming division said that Xbox, and I quote, will not chase short-term efficiency or flood our ecosystem with soulless AI slop. That's right. They have no intention of flooding the Xbox with soulless AI slop, which is why they appointed the head of Microsoft AI to take over the Xbox gaming division. In other news, Razer have just released a new keyboard. Now you might be thinking to yourself, how can this possibly be news? Bear with me. So, Razer have just released their newly announced Signature Edition keyboard, the Huntsman Signature Edition. Officially arrives this week, February the 27th. If you pick up the Huntsman Signature Edition, some of you may even understand what any of this means. You get 8000 Hz hyperpolling, rapid trigger-capable optical analog switches, customizable actuation, N-key rollover and anti-ghosting, with swappable double-shot PBT keycaps. Now, I don't know what any of that means. But the reason this is news is because of how much money Razer are asking for whatever the hell all these features are. Razer are expecting you to hand over, I hope you're strapped in for this, $500 for this keyboard. I mean, that's enough of a headline in and of itself. $500 for a keyboard. Are you on crack? But here's the thing. It doesn't have certain features that you'd expect, that you'd demand to have included on a keyboard of that price. And some of the features that it does have are available on other significantly cheaper keyboards. For example, and again, I have no idea what they're talking about here, but if you are something of a keyboard aficionado, then this might actually mean something to you, but the Razer keyboard doesn't have Hall effect keys, which the $40 Gamma K X Nordshark keyboard does. And while the Razer keyboard does have extremely sturdy builds and aluminium plates, so does the $100 Ducky 6108 for a fifth of the price. So yeah, Razer selling $500 keyboards since 2026, or perhaps not selling them, building them, but maybe nobody's going to be buying them. We shall see. $500 for a keyboard, what the actual hell? And before we go, in other news, files found on the public build environment of League of Legends include reports for voice comms abuse, as well as entries for a comms panel that include voice options for party or team, which might not mean an awful lot to you, but which strongly suggest that the game, League of Legends, with what is easily the most toxic gaming community on the planet, is thinking about putting public voice comms into the game and doesn't see how that might be a problem. Although, as one user on the game's subreddit deliciously ironically pointed out, how fitting for League of Legends that the first hint at voice chat we get is for the report function. And on that magnificently self-aware observation, that's it for this week's episode of Mingles with Jingles. I hope you've all enjoyed it, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.